How's it going, guys? This is John Arnwood here. I'm reporting from Sh3gotgame, and I'm here with Rutgers Prep and the lovely Mikayla Blakes. How's everything going, man?
It's going well. It's been good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad you made the time out. I understand how busy you are, especially coming off the playoffs, and there's a lot of things happening for you. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to come chat with us for a bit.
Of course, I love it.
Yeah, man. There's a lot to get to. There's a ton to get to, and we're gonna peel it back layer by layer. However, I want to start off with here at She Got Game, we always do a segment called the She Got Game moment, right? And your very very useful career where you have tons of accolades and tons of things to look back on. I want to know, when did Mikayla Blakes access her She Got Game moment? Like, what point of your career did you reach that?
I'd say there's been like a bunch of moments on the court, but I think off the court, that moment was when a little girl came up to me and asked for my autograph for the first time. I mean, that moment I just fell in love with. And then now every time I go to training, parents stop me and talk to me and have me talk to their children as well. So, I mean, just realizing how blessed I am and that I'm a role model to younger girls has definitely been my moment.
That's amazing. Do you start to realize, I guess, your impact and stuff like that? Has that kind of helped you kind of embrace it?
Yeah, it's made me embrace it and then also just be conscious that a bunch of other kids are looking at me and watching my every move. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to talk a little bit towards the end of this year. Unfortunately, you guys got to the championship, but unfortunately, this season, you guys weren't able to come away with the championship, right? I wonder, that said, how special was this season to you? And, what was the biggest lesson you kind of walked away from the championship game with?
I mean, the season was definitely one of the most special seasons to me. Just because this year I moved from a sophomore to a junior, which is an underclassman to an upperclassman. This year we just competed. We won, I think, 25 games, playing a national schedule. We still won two championships, our Somerset County and then our sectionals. So still excited about the team and the progress and growth from the beginning of the year to the end of the year was just incredible. And since we're relatively young, next year should be a great year for us. And I think the one thing we really stuck with us was how much heart we had to play with. And every game was a battle. And just coming back from those deficits, especially against South Shore in the beginning of the year, that really just showed me how much this team cares about each other and winning.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of just mentioned coming from underclassmen going into an upperclassman. How did you come into embracing that role of leadership and things of that nature into this year?
I think just my family has always been big on leadership. My mom is always talking about what are you doing to help the underclassmen? What are you doing to better yourself and make yourself a role model? And then just seeing my brother, he went through it. It's just really impacted me.
Absolutely. There's no secret here. There's no secret. You've been mentioned with the best names in the state, right? And that's the Zoe Brooks. Those are the Hidalgos, the Hannah Hidalgos. And I just personally want to ask you, who name, what team, what name, what did you personally have the funnest, or at least which did you enjoy the most, kind of playing against in your career? Who kind of gave you that extra edge?
That's a tough question, I'd say. I just say Jersey is the best state guard play wise. Just every game, there's
Yeah.
always at least one guard out there on the court that I just battle against. And I'd probably say just playing Zoe has been very fun. She's so crafty with her moves and everything like that. So just playing with her, seeing her growth, and then just seeing my growth as well has been a great experience.
I think one would assume. I mean, we've seen how gifted you are offensively. We know you know how to get to your spots. You know the weaknesses. You know how to attack the foot. However, I guess playing against talent like that, your defense is just naturally got to get better, right? Can you speak to that kind of playing on both sides of the ball and elevating your game in that aspect?
Yeah, I think for me, my game started on defense. Growing up, I didn't really get into basketball, but just knowing if I'm able to contain my defender, play defense, get a couple turnovers, get a couple rebounds, that'll provide offense for me. And that's just really been big on me and my family. And to be a tough defender, you really got to have heart. So me and my brother, we've battled against each other, and that just really brought that heart out with me in every game.
Yeah. Well, you kind of just talked about a lot before we get into breaking down your actual game because we're gonna get there as well. I want to kind of get back into a little bit of your background. I want to touch a little bit on that. So where are you initially from? I know you're from Jersey, but what town are you initially from?
I was born in Princeton, New Jersey. So
Princeton, New Jersey. Nice. You know, you kind of mentioned your brother. For people at home, Jalen Brooks. He's a Duke. He plays for Duke. He's their starting point guard, I believe, or shooting guard. He's a guard for Duke, and I wanted to ask you. I mean, naturally, him playing at such a high level, you guys, you just mentioned it a little bit, having that intense battles with him. How did he play an effect on basketball for you?
he played a huge effect on me, I'd say. Growing up, going to every single one of his games, being his biggest supporter to his like biggest critic. For me, I started out doing dance competitively, and then I moved to track. So I didn't really pick up a basketball until sixth grade. But just seeing how hard he worked, he would go in the gym with my dad almost every day after school. Just really made me want to be a part of that, and then just continue to see myself grow.
Yeah, no. I kind of want to know. I gotta know how intense are those battles, man? With Duke's very own, you know what I mean? He's got you obviously by a few years, but how intense did those battles get?
Those battles are so intense. Like we'll be outside playing and then we'll come in the house and not talk to each other for a couple hours. Or I'd either get my mom or dad just to come out and ref between us. Like it's intense, but it's all love at the end of the day. So
Did you ever walk away with any of those games?
I got maybe like two under my belt.
I bet. That's great, man. I wanted to ask, how is having a support system and kind of a player like that in your corner? He's got all the experience in the world. He's at one of the best, colleges in the nation, essentially. And then obviously having your dad and having all these different people who kind of have a background and experience around the game of basketball. How has that helped affect your game and just, elevate your game in a way?
Just having the support system is definitely great. Having my brother as my best friend, has really been helpful. He's always watching film. So I'd say in my family, we watch film heavily, whether it's after a game, the next day, like we're film fanatics. So just knowing that I have at least two people, especially in my immediate family, that I can watch film with, ask him about a couple of things because he's been through it. It's just been great.
Absolutely. What part of the game would you say came the most natural to you?
Definitely just the pace and running in transition because I came from track. I really could not handle the ball or shoot or anything. So probably that and layups.
The speed of the game. Okay, that makes sense. Growing up, you were just a straight fast break kind of outlet guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that aspect, what part of the game would you say you had to develop the most?
Definitely my shooting ability. I saw a big jump in that this year where I made 75 3-pointers or something. So I think just seeing that get better has really been
Mm. Excuse me. We understand, you've had immense success at a young age, even now, right? You've had immense success. I want to move a little forward to kind of your high school career, right? Playing at Rutgers Prep, you've played with immense talent. Like we kind of mentioned off air a little bit, you've played with so much talent. What was your relationship with McDonald's All American nominee Antonio Bates?
I'd say we had a pretty close relationship, just like with all my teammates. We're all like sisters on the court. And she always was there for me to ask questions to. And then just even during intense situations, she was just there to have like a good laugh with and take my mind off of things. So it was really good.
You just mentioned that you said you guys played like sisters on the court, watching highlights and just kind of watching you guys go through it. It seemed you guys played with a bond that was unbreakable at some point. In what ways did you guys complement each other game a little bit?
I think just playing with her length, she was able to catch things, able to run in transition, play like a guard at the 5 spot definitely helped. And I don't know, just being able to look up the court and see her wide open was definitely helpful.
Absolutely. Speaking of privileged players and just people you've gotten to play with, you're with a legend. You're being coached by a Jersey basketball legend and Mary Klinger, right? How is that relationship for you? Um, you know, how's that uniquely help also elevate your game?
Definitely playing under a coach like Coach Mary. I just have so much respect for her. She's been through everything. She's a huge supporter of me, my family, and she's been with me since I was in the 7th grade. So just having that bond with her and connection with her has definitely been very helpful in the growth of my game. And just knowing that she has trust in me, I'm able to receive feedback from her, and I have the same amount of trust in her when games get tight and when I have the question to ask her, maybe ask her, what about doing this? Just knowing that I'm able to come up to her and she'll answer that.
With that being said, it sounds like you guys have a very tight bond while you're playing, and she clearly helps guide you in any way she humanly can. Next year you'll be a senior, and you're stepping up to a huge role. With that being said, how much will that play an effect of you, committing and choosing to that next level as far, kind of coming from a legendary coach like Klinger? How much will that play an effect going into the next level?
It's definitely going to play a huge effect. Just the connection I have with the coaches, the communication, the trust, the family atmosphere,
Mhm.
that's going to play a huge role in my decision.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to touch on a little bit because outside of high school and outside of your people you've played in regular high school with in the state of Jersey, you also this upcoming AAU season you're joining Kennedy Henry with Philly Rise, correct? How excited are you truly to kind of take over the reins now that Hidalgo has moved on and she's moving into Notre Dame? How excited are you not only to play alongside Kennedy Henry, but to kind of have the reins? It's your team now.
Definitely excited to join a program like Philly Rise. There's been so many greats that's been through the program in only, I think, 3 or 4 years that they've had it. So just knowing I'm one of the next and just seeing the foundation that Zoe and Hannah and all of them have laid down and just being able to build off of that to hopefully winning a championship this year. It's been very, very fun. And especially with practices, playing with Kennedy Henry, she's going to be such a great person to play with. She's a knockdown shooter. She can finish anywhere and she plays defense. So I mean, it's great.
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys have, oh my God, a plethora of talent over there. For people at home, right? People don't, or they may not understand. Some may not understand how difficult it is, being at a talent you are, but however, sometimes not getting the green light because you're behind, or they're just the veterans of the team of a Zoe Brooks or Hidalgo. Can you kind of explain a little bit what are some of the biggest differences between being a great role player that versus next year becoming the number one option?
Um, and your role player, you just got to play your role. Nobody can take that away from you. You got to get good at the things that will help you improve in that role, and give your coach that trust. And I think becoming the number one option is definitely a major role to take on. You have to be able to put your teammates in a great situation while putting yourself in a great situation as well. And when you're the number one option, you can't be afraid to take on those big games and those big matchups. So I think your confidence has to be up there as well.
Absolutely. Confidence is huge. Confidence is key. How are you preparing mentally? Because not only are you stepping up in the AAU season, but as we mentioned, you're becoming a senior, and this is your last hurrah in essentially high school. How are you this upcoming off season and stuff, how are you mentally preparing to take on that role for both teams?
I think the preparation is the same as it's always been, just getting in the gym, working hard, watching film, building connections with my teammates and encouraging them. It's really just the same and just continuing to improve individually as well.
Absolutely. Your game is pretty unique. I'll be honest. I've watched a lot of highlights. I've seen a lot of the teams and talent you play against and play with currently. And you have a unique game. You kind of don't have a weakness in many. You're a three-level scorer. You also play defense as well. My question to you is there any WNBA or NBA players that you attempt to model your game off after, or try to take pieces from to implement in your game? And if so, who are they?
Say the two WNBA players that I watch the most are Skylar Diggins-Smith and Chelsea Gray. Those two are definitely my top two, and I got to watch Chelsea Gray in the championship this past year with my parents, so that was a great opportunity.
Yes, that she's one of the greatest to ever do it. I think she's finally getting the credit she deserves. And if you don't mind me asking, how was that experience? Kind of seeing her live, and it's a lot different than seeing TV. Seeing her on TV and stuff. So, if you don't mind me asking, what was it like, that experience?
That experience was definitely one of the top experiences I've ever been to. Just seeing the banner come down and like the confetti, that was a great experience to watch with my parents alongside me and just continue to see like face to face how great she is and how she's able to get to her spots is really good.
Man, she's one of the best ever at it. I want to ask you, it's a little deeper question, but I do, I think a lot of people stick in the moment, and I think it kind of helps them develop, their confidence, and it helps them develop a lot of things. However, it comes a point in time where the basketball ends, right? And just in general, sometimes people's stories expand beyond basketball. You have your Kobe Bryants, and you have other players like that. What do you want your legacy to be? Once it's all said and done, the basketball stops dribbling. What do you want Mikayla Blake's legacy to be?
I just really want to be a part in growing the game of women's basketball. It's growing right now, which is really great to see, and just continuing to see how much it's going to grow. And if I'm a part of that, I would be so excited. And just continue to be a role model for younger girls, younger boys, anybody who thinks that they can't do it, they can. And hopefully my college career is getting a national championship, breaking some records individually and as a team, and hopefully making it to the WNBA. That would be a great legacy to have.
Yeah. Kind of shifting into the bigger game here. Because like as we said, at some point the ball stops. The ball stops at some point, and what do you wish to implement from the game of basketball into your daily life and possibly your career, or possibly just into your next, steps and stuff like that?
It's self-love is so important. Being your number one fan. Everybody can hate on you, but as long as you're positive to yourself and just believe in yourself, that's very important. Being spiritually grounded, communication with people, and definitely just staying mentally tough. That'll definitely help.
Um, building confidence is pretty tough for people, right? Especially people your age and teenagers and stuff around the world. How do you think you were able to implement and kind of instill in yourself that confidence and that self love and stuff like that for people at home?
I think just always believing that I can do something, even if I'm being looked down upon. And definitely, I just say track definitely helped me build my confidence. Just that mindset of when you feel like you want to stop, just continue to keep going. You can catch the next person. That has really helped me grow, and surrounding myself by people who are like-minded has definitely helped my confidence.
Absolutely, absolutely. For people at home, a lot of people know Mikayla Blakes, the basketball player. We got to learn a little bit about you, who Mikayla Blakes is off the court a little bit. But I want to ask you, personally, like, we understand how basketball can consume your life, right? and it's healthy, I think, for everyone at some point to kind of learn how to step away for a little bit and really indulge your time into something else to kind of be leveled and grounded, right? What are some of your hobbies and interests that you really enjoy to do outside the game of basketball when no one's watching?
I'd say probably photography. I
Okay.
love shopping and I'm a spender a little bit. Spending time with family and friends and definitely giving back because there's some people who need it more than I do. So
Absolutely, absolutely. You said photography. Do you like to shoot animals? You like to shoot the sky? Is there
um,
certain things you really like specifically?
right now I'm in the nature and people thing. So that's going, yeah.
I like that. I like that. This is amazing, and you've given me so much of your time, and I'm super grateful, and I appreciate you coming to chat with me. But to conclude the interview, as you said in the beginning, you've become a role model, and there are millions, and probably, Lord knows how many people are watching your story and watching you every day and looking up to you and trying to become you to resonate with you. Is there any advice for any young boys, young girls out there who may look up to you, going forward?
Definitely, I'd say embrace the work. You have to work hard to get good at what you're doing. Your voice matters. And just as I said before, continue to believe in yourself. It'll definitely get you a long way than people who don't.
Absolutely. I would love to say thank you. Seriously. This is an honor. This is a great honor. You're going to do amazing things, and I can't wait to follow up with you again next year and just follow your journey going forward. I really appreciate you for sitting down with me and She Got Game.
Thank you. I appreciate it.